opportunity for these wildcards, though, I must say. A lot of wildcards playing in this event. Unusual miss from Ben Mertens into that left corner.
I think he will need a settling in period. It is such a consequential tournament, this, the Saudi Arabia Snooker Masters, for everyone in the field, in particular the lower ranked players who can make massive strides if they do well.
Yeah, good pot. And that black is still available, obviously. That's what he's played for. Those two reds, maybe just beneath the black spot. There may be a possible plant into the same pocket. We'll certainly find out now. They look pretty much of a line.
As you were moving from the studio over to the commentary box, Ken, I was telling the viewers that his highest break is 135. So if he can do that, you know that there's talent and skill there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's made the plant, but judging by the body language, unfortunately, he's covered the black into the same pocket. Yeah, listen, all these wildcards would be talented players, there's no doubt. That's why they've got to the top of the game in their own region and country, and that's why they've been given this opportunity. But it's a different, as we call it, a different kettle of fish out there, but it's great experience for them. And I think it's so important, isn't it, Phil, for all the wildcards to settle down so early in the match, get a few balls, pot a few good balls, get your arm going, get settled, quash the nerves.
Didn't really deserve the in-off there, did well to avoid all the traffic.
I mean, for a lot of these wildcards, it'd be the first time playing on television, of course. And it is a nerve-wracking. I remember the first time I played on television, well, it would have been back in 1991, I think it was, Phil. Playing the great Eddie Charlton in the Mercantile Classic down in Bournemouth. And like, you're getting used to the cameras moving, and they weren't the small little cameras that we have now. They're much bigger. I'm getting used to them moving. The cameramen, they're a lot better now, of course, these days. The cameramen and the equipment is so much better. But yeah, getting used to them back in those days, that was tough initially.
How was Eddie? Was he a good sport?
Well, that was another one. Getting used to playing someone like him, of course. He called me a lucky so-and-so once when I was walking by him on the way back to my chair after I fluked the snooker off the safety shot. But yeah, welcome to professional snooker, it was almost like. And there's another example there, Phil. You see where Abdullah hit the red there on that shot. It's just the reaction of the cloth from distance. Got it completely wrong. And he's left Ben Mertens in with a wonderful opportunity here.
First time I saw him this season was in the Championship League in Leicester. He didn't win his group, but in one particular match he was very impressive. He overcame John Higgins 3-0 in no time, making breaks of 68, 86 and 82. If he can replicate that kind of form, I think this match could be quite rapid.
He's quite unusual in his sort of in his stance. When he's such a tall lad, normally the right leg should be straight, but as you see, he has to bend down his two knees. Not many players in the game have to do that. Normally, call it tripod stance, but if you get a look at his knees here, watch the way he has to bend both knees to get right down on the shot.
Must be something about being a Belgian prospect, because the other one, Julien Leclerc, he's a very tall individual as well, who could easily have played basketball.
Even though he's playing a wildcard field, if you watch him here, you can see there is a little bit of movement in his head. There's a little bit of shaking going on there. So he is a bit nervous.
Yeah, well observed, Ken. I think that's the case with him in pretty much every match I've seen him play. He does tend to shake a little. Mind you, that's no obstacle to success. We've seen players in the past who are like that. From many moons ago, the Canadian Bob Chaperon, who won the British Open. And in more recent times, the likes of John Higgins, Mark Selby can be observed shaking down on a shot.
Yeah, that was a clever shot. As play, didn't attempt the party. Knocked the red in and out of ball, just making sure, trying to get that cue ball close to the ball cushion. He's got to be careful here, Abdullah. He's got to avoid this pink on the way back to bulk. Did so when he's got a good cue ball here. This is an excellent shot. Sure, the pace of the table caught him out. I think he might have been playing for the brown into the left centre there, so it's a bit of a stretch for this brown. Certainly missable.
When you're in an alien environment in any walk of life, it can lead to tension, nerves, feeling a little out of place. All of that leads to uncertainty, and that's one thing you don't want when you're down on a snooker shot. You need clarity of mind.
Well, he's had a good look here. I'm not quite sure he screwed the cue ball back far enough. Must be pretty tight for that black. Maybe not. Now you see he's looking at an alternative shot. So another error from Ben Martin. It's been a bit of a shaky start here for him.
I think Mertens is all too well aware of the importance of this tournament to him, rankings-wise. Got to highest ever ranking of 70 last year. But right now he's world number 92, and that's where he is provisionally. So thoughts of that dreaded Q school begin to come into the mind. But a good run here would resolve all of those problems.
Better putt. Needs a good kiss on the green. Didn't get it. the angle to take the brown on is just too acute for him. So maybe just a little roll up behind the green. There you see how much he's shaking. He looks very, very nervous.
It's indisputable. As I say, the only mitigating factor I will point out is that pretty much every time I've seen him, he's been the same.
Well, maybe he's able to control it. I think the important thing, we always say you've got to keep your head still, but I think the important thing for a snooker player is keeping that back arm nice and straight and pushing the cue through in a straight line. Definitely when you see him up close, shaking quite a lot. Maybe if he can win this first frame of this visit or get to a stage where his opponent needs snooker, it might settle him down a little bit. I think that's the key, isn't it, Phil? Like when you're going out there to play, particularly for the players with massive amounts of money, that you can't think about the money, you can't think about the prize, you just got to think about putting as many balls as you can and getting the win under your belt. The money and the rankings and everything else will look after themselves.
The scoreboard ticking up in very small increments. Definition of a scrappy frame, this one. Now tonight, Ken, when you go out there, you've been there, done that, you've won everything. But there will be butterflies.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But I must say I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a tough match against Liam Davies, who's another up-and-coming player from South Wales. Very good prospect. I think he's got a big future in the game. Yeah, I think like all the players, just excited to be out there participating in it. Looking forward to playing and see what happens. Can Ben knock this in? Take control.
Your opponent tonight, Liam Davies, and Ben Mertens are linked, actually. At the age of 15, Ben became the youngest player to win a match in the World Championship. That was in the 2020 qualifiers. And his record has since been broken by Liam Davies.
Yeah, missed call there, so that'll go back. I think it's a much more difficult position from this side of the table. Got to get a good connection on the left-hand side of this red. Doesn't want to be knocking the second red towards the right corner pocket. Once again, from distance, he's completely miscalculating where he has to find that connection to get it back to safety. It's a few times it's happened.
There you see the cue arm really shaking. This is frame ball.
Yeah, no attempt to dislodge the red, just play this red up towards the green pocket and took that cue ball in behind the black. Well, he's misjudged it. That's a poor shot. Should have been a full ball snooker.
Did pretty well there, especially where the red has come to rest. 37 behind in a very low scoring affair with 35 on. I'm not saying that Mertens is going to lose this frame. It's highly unlikely, but not getting that snooker on the last red a little earlier will definitely have added length to the frame, and consequently he's expending nervous energy that is a little needless.
Yeah, totally agree. It was such a straightforward shot, wasn't it? Just to tuck that cue ball behind black. And now if he gets on the black here, Abdullah into the middle, or is it gonna run? That's unlucky.
One.
Just once again, pace of the table. And he needs a colour here, of course, because if he doesn't, he's gonna need, well, 3 snookers, it'll be 36 behind, so he needs to pot something here. Otherwise, well, he's gonna play a little snooker, but that's not really gonna help him too much. Look at the scoreboard. He could play snooker and hope for a 4-point penalty. He's tried to play a clever little double, but it hasn't gone in, and well, it should be frame over now, Phil.
Defying the percentages there. Yeah, 36 the difference. It means that Mertens is in the safe zone. Alatani needs 3 snookers.
Well, that's not a bad one. It's going to be a big swerve. Can he get around that black? Can he get enough on the cue ball? Yeah, he can. Good shot.
2.
I've just come back from the US Open pool in Atlantic City, Ken. There, they would have jumped over the black, but it's not allowed in this game.
Ben Mertens 2. Yes? Can concede frame Ben Mertens.
The concession arrives. It was nothing to write home about that first frame. Lots of mistakes. Ben Mertens seemed nervy, but he won it nevertheless to draw first blood. Welcome back to the inaugural Saudi Arabia Snooker Masters. What a wonderful venue this is. 8 tables in progress right now. It is the first round of one of the most consequential tournaments in snooker history. It means so much to so many. You know, the stat was coming here, Ken. I was looking at this before I travelled. Any one of the main tour members comes here, regardless of their ranking, they win it. They're top 16 members. Any one of the top 64 win it. They're top 5 members.
Yeah. Well, it just goes to show what's available and the opportunity that presents itself to all the players on tour. Yes, there will be the usual suspects, there's no doubt about that. The top players in the world, Trumps, the Wilsons, O'Sullivans, and many more. But yeah, wonderful opportunities right down throughout the list. And of course, great experience for the likes of the wildcards like we're seeing here. Yes, they may struggle under the conditions against the experienced players, but it's a great opportunity for them, great inspiration. We're going to see a young lad playing tonight who's 14 years of age, Zaid. He takes on a 17-year-old, Stan Moody. I mean, not many other sports in the world can grant sort of great opportunities like that, Phil.
Yeah, Zaid Al-Kabani, you're right, 14 years of age. He's only been playing the game a couple of years, but he's the leading Saudi junior. Looking forward to seeing him. And he's already made an impact. He was a quarter-finalist in this year's Asian Under-21 Championship. My notes say favourite players: Ronnie O'Sullivan, John Higgins. Don't see Ken Doherty there.
He's too young to even remember me, eh? When I was world champion, Phil, he would have been, what, minus 14? So I can understand that. I'm not envious in the slightest. Just what an opportunity.
Ken, when you were world champion, that was 27 years ago. That's frightening.
Yeah, the combined age of the two lads playing tonight is 31 years of age. Makes me feel old, Phil.
But you've not changed a bit.
Thank you very much. Neither of you.
Well, one of us is telling the truth.
Now, I'm told by a reliable source, Mr. Phil Haig, who has interviewed Ben Mertens last season, that he suffers from a tremor, which makes his arm and indeed his head shake a little bit, and he's had to deal with that. So that's what we've been pointing out, just to notice of a little shake. You may see it as we get a little bit closer and he's down on the shot, but it is a tremor problem, so it's probably not nerves, but something that he just has to deal with. Obviously, maybe the nerves maybe cause it a little bit. Let's see if we can notice it here now. When I see a little bit.
Yes, over the years, certain players have had to deal with that. Jimmy Robertson, I recall, who's here and who's playing nicely at the moment. Perhaps most famously from a bygone era, Bill Werbenick.
He used to drink, what was it, 30 pints of lager a day just to get over it. So well, an opportunity. Can he knock this red in? Get on a colour. Oh, just caught the near jaw. Just shows you how tight these pockets can be. I mean, just catching that near jaw, stopped it. Have a look at this again. Watch this now. Watch it just catch the near jaw, just there. And won't drop.
And this is the first day of competition when traditionally, normally, the pockets play a little more generously than they do later on in the week.
Yeah. He's going to play the plant. Can he get on a colour? Oh, well. That's hard to believe. He was so concerned about not fouling the brown or green there. I missed the plant.
Didn't get into the cue ball as much as he wanted. So with the red hanging over the pocket and plenty of others in the open, this is a pressure ball. And it showed. Nowhere near. Excellent, the old carom shot. We haven't given you the scores for a while, so during the course of this frame, I'll let you know exactly what's been occurring. Rory Thor of Malaysia is through, beating Omar Al-Ajlani 4-0. Last year's women's world champion, Bipad Siripaporn from Thailand. She lost a frame in which she made a 50 break, but she does lead Mohammed Al-Kayat 3-2. Haris Tahir from Pakistan, who's a main tour member. He's 2-all with Chris Totten after winning the first 2 frames. Michael Holt was quickly over the line, beating Ahmad Abul 4-0. Simon Blackwell, he whitewashed Rhian Evans 4-0. And news of a couple of Saudi wildcards acquitting themselves really well. Abdul Rauf Sega, he's 2-2 with Robbie McGuigan. And it's 2-2 Alan Taylor and Adil Akhtas of Pakistan.
Not as well judged. Yeah, nice. Nicely acknowledged in a sporting gesture by his opponent, Abdullah. Nice to see. Now, can he come off 1, 2, possibly 3 cushions, nestle on these 2 reds? Oh no, that's a bit wide. I don't think he's going to leave anything though, so that'll go back. And that's an instance there, Phil, what we call the slide. Slide off the first cushion as he hits it, and then the second cushion, where like if you were in the local club, that would square off the second cushion, go into nestle into these reds just to the left of this right corner. But there you see the slide off the first cushion, throwing the cue ball wide.
Foul and a miss.
And that's what he's been struggling with. Just not used to playing on these match cloths. He's catching him out at the moment.
Yeah, to the uninitiated, you might think, well, a snooker table is a snooker table. Same dimensions, all that kind of stuff. But the professional conditions are so different from what amateurs encounter. You need months, nay, years of acclimatisation to become fully attuned to what you require. Can't just come in cold and expect to conquer them.
Yeah, it does take a bit of time. There's no doubt about that. Oh, he's going to take this red on. It's very dangerous. If it doesn't go in, could be leaving plenty. Very dangerous. He had alternative shots there. He didn't have to play that. Now, has he left anything into this bottom right corner? Is there a possible red into the right centre?
One.
This is not looking good. He was playing for the red to the left of the pink. Okay. He's still got an alternative here into this bottom right corner pocket, but he did miss one of these earlier. Can he make up for it here? Yeah, much better.
7.
In terms of picking up ranking points, he's not had a bad start to the season, actually. He did qualify for the recent Xi'an Grand Prix in China, beating Simon Blackwell 5-4. He trailed 3-2 and 4-3 in that match. Held himself together with a 50 break
12.
in the decider. And he's also qualified for the forthcoming British Open, beating Zach Surety 4-1. And Surety can be a terrific player when he's on.
Green ball.
Nice positional shot, using 2 cushions just to control that cue ball.
17.
Yeah, and nicely on the black now. There you see, still shaking quite profusely. Very difficult to play under that, Phil. I mean, I know we said he some sort of tremor, but it's obviously
25.
precipitated with the nerves, and it's not easy to control and play good snooker. He seems to be, as you said, can play and manage it, but it's only when he gets to the better players, will it curtail him a little bit? That's what I'd be worried about.
33.
Claimed a couple of notable scalps last season. Beat Gary Wilson in the first round of the European Masters. Also in the first round of the Wuhan Open, he overcame Sean Murphy. Still only 19 years of age. Time's on his side.
39. 40.
Yeah, and when he gets going, he gets into a rhythm.
47.
He looks good.
48.
But it may be a little bit of a hindrance, that tremor and that shaking. He's got to try and deal with it as best as he can. I think it's one of these things that can come and go, isn't it, Phil? I mean, it's not a definite that it's going to be there all the time, but nice shot, nicely played.
63.
Well, this frame has come and it's gone the way of Mertens.
64.
Now, can he pot the black and get a little connection on those two reds? It's a plant towards the corner pocket. I don't think the red will go in. Just need a connection on it. Yeah, played it nicely.
And now a realistic
71.
chance to make his first century of the season.
72.
Tried to get that cue ball all the way around the table.
79.
Brown stopped that. So a little hit and hope here. Trying to fluke the red.
Ben Martin 79. Elder frame.
No century, but a considerable improvement on what happened in the opening frame. Both have gone the same way to Ben Mertens. He leads 2-0. Welcome back to Riyadh and welcome back to day one of the Saudi Arabia Snooker Masters. It is the Battle of the Bays, so-called. And right now, Ben Mertens is winning this battle. He's halfway to victory. First round matches today, all of them will be played. All of them are best of 7.
Third frame. Ben Martin's 3.
That's more like it. He's a little bit unlucky there. Okay. Great pot, but it's just a little bit unlucky. It's gone cue ball so close to this left-hand side cushion. Tremendous pot. Cue ball could have been kinder. This is missable. Ah, good pot. Well played. And he's on the red at the bottom of the pack.
8.
Maybe disturbing one or two reds here. Could play it with top spin and try and stay on the black. He's going into other reds. Could go wrong. Yeah,
9.
just not enough. Hard to judge that particular shot.
Abdullah is one of 7 wildcards from Saudi Arabia, a total of 17 in the tournament. The other 10 wildcards come from countries in the region, including Egypt. And the reason I say that, Mohammed Al Kayat has forced a decider with bypassed Siri Paporn. Siri Paporn, last year's Women's World Champion, was 3-1 ahead. Now, though, it's all about the final 7th frame. And other news, Abdul Rauf Sega from right here in Saudi Arabia leads Robbie McGuigan 3-2. Alan Taylor, after a worrying start, is through. He's beaten Adil Akdus of Pakistan 4-2. They love their Q Sports here in Saudi Arabia. And in the world of pool, they have a really good prospect in Khalid Al Ghamdi, who